Well, we are here with Grandmaster P Iniyan, who is 3 out of 3 at the second Goa GM tournament. Iniyan, today you are playing against Nitish Belurkar in round 3. How was the game? It was a Sicilian Alapin, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Sicilian Alapin. It started in different but transposed to Sicilian Alapin, and the opening was pleasant for me.
Yeah, the opening looked pretty good for you. You just developed your pieces. Where exactly did he go wrong?
I think this variation is not so good for white. After I played bishop b5 and exchanges light square bishop, all his pawn structure is weak and the light squares are weak. So I think the opening was mistake for him.
You played at some point bishop b5 and exchanged the light squared bishops. After that, you were quite better. Like you had a very solid edge.
Yeah, my I had a advantage always, and he had to be careful not to go into losing position.
And then this IQP position where he has a pawn on d4 and you are sort of building up on him. How was that? Were you confident of converting that position?
At one point, he played knight e5, and he should have played knight g5 and went for an attack on my king side. When he has an isolated pawn, he has to try to attack my king side. But when after he played knight e5, then I was confident that I can play on for a long time and get an advantage.
The kind of play that happened after that is not your style of play, like you like to play sharp, complicated, tricky positions, but you did a fantastic job in this technical position as well.
You can't get what you like to play in every game, and yeah, I just exchanged the correct pieces and then kept on the pressure. Um, I just doubled on the isolated pawn, and at one point I could have played rook take d4, getting into a pawn up position. And after rook into d4, rook into d4, rook c7, rook d3, rook into b7, rook into d3, I would have a slightly better position with 4 pawn versus 3 on the same side. But I thought that it will be easy for him to defend and kept the pressure. It is not an advantage for black like winning advantage, but he should play a bit accurately. And when the pressure started to get higher, he made a mistake. He should have played king e2 instead of rook f3, and then it would not have been so much of an advantage for me. I would be a pawn up after e5, but it will be an isolated pawn. So when he made a mistake, then I got a pawn up without any pawn structural defect for me, and then I just pushed my pawns.
So that gave you a 3 out of 3 win. You are playing in India after quite some time, isn't it?
Yeah, my last tournament was in Kit last year, and after that, I have not played in India. For the last 2 months, I was not playing in any tournament. So after some time, I am playing. I think this year I am playing in 3 or 4 tournaments in India,
Which are the other ones?
in Commonwealth and in the World Junior and World Youth.
Wonderful. Indian, we haven't really spoken to you after you became a Grandmaster. You became the 61st GM of India. You made your final norm at in Italy. Yeah, it was.
Uh, no, it is hard to count because my third GM norm was achieved in Spain, but I have 5 GM norms.
So you have 5 of them. You became the first GM from Erode. Many people say that you are a very raw talent because in Erode, a place where there was absolutely no chess culture, you came from there and you became a GM. Do you agree with it?
Yeah, there is a certain kind of problems with players from rural area. We don't get enough kind of support. But I was fortunate that I had a good school, Indian public school, and good sponsors, and my family were very supportive. And Oliru Miroda Foundation had sponsored me, and recently Microsense has started to sponsor me. So I was fortunate in that aspect. Not a lot of people from rural areas get so many support.
And you have mentioned previously in your interviews that there was a phase of 1 year where you struggled a lot. You couldn't reach your rating milestone of 2500. But overall, your journey looked pretty smooth towards the GM title.
For from I became an IM in 2017 January and a GM only at 2019 March. So there was a gap of 2 years. I could have achieved it in the January of 2018 itself. I had two norms and just 13 points needing. But after that, my rating dropped and got up and dropped again. So it was fluctuating a bit, but there was not a very big drop. The thing is, I did not rise so many points and lose too many points also. So it is not smooth. I came 5 or 6 times close to 2500 and lost my points, at least in the live rating.
You're born in 2002. You are now 17 years old. What's your future plan? Like, are you going to completely focus on chess, or you're going to also take education into account?
I will study colleges and I will play chess mainly as a profession, but I think that studies is also a necessary part of life.
What do you want to become academically?
Academically, I want to do MBA.
That's a very ambitious aim. We want to ask you that your father comes from a sports background. I think he's a cricket coach. So did that help you as a chess player?
Yeah, my father supports me even now, every day. At times, he gives me advice on how to face a situation. Because even though he is not a chess player, because he has played he has played cricket. He knows how to face situations where we lose or where we win, and he tells me how to face them and overcome them.
Wonderful. And what about your trainer? Last time you had mentioned that you work with Vishweshwaran. Is he still your coach?
Yeah, he's still my coach. He has been coaching me for 6 years, and yeah, he helps me a lot. And whenever I need his help, he is there.
Can you tell us about your relationship with him? How did it develop? Because he lives in Chennai and you live in Erode.
My second coach was Sendilvel sir from Salem. He's also the father of IM Nitin. And Nitin Anna was coached by Vishwesh sir before. So Sendilvel sir recommended me to him after I got to a certain stage, saying that he will take you into further levels. So I went to him.
And what does your mother do?
My mother has completed her MPhil and she stopped going to work because she had to travel with me. So she's a housewife.
So now she travels with you to tournaments and she's here as well. How does her coming to tournaments with you help you in the events?
When she is here with me, she helps me psychologically, emotionally, and also the other things like when we are going to tournaments, we don't want to take outside food, and my mother cooks, and she makes it possible for me to focus completely on chess. But her coming with me affects my sister a bit. She has to sacrifice being with my mother for a lot of time. But so I would really like to thank her.
Wonderful. And finally, we want to ask you, this is you're playing in India after a year. How happy are you with the conditions of the tournament? Do you like overall the setup of this event?
Even though there are a lot of players playing here, the hall is fantastic. They have a big hall with a table for each board, and it is huge. So we have a lot of space and we can think comfortably. And I think the overall organization is also very good.
Okay, Iniyan, it was a pleasure talking to you, knowing more about you. I think the viewers now have a good idea about what our 61st GM is like, the challenges you have faced, and what you are looking at in the future. But we wish you all the best for the next 7 rounds of this tournament.
Thank you.